the problem, use original instructions. Think outside of the box. Phone system restore. Try with a new user profile. Disable all unnecessary startups. Try a different way to the end. Swap hardware. Brainstorm the problem. Brainstorm the problem. Brainstorm the problem.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. July 10th, 2024. And there I can actually get my own audio check. Yeah, what is it? Wednesday. I get my grandson today. Looking forward to that. I think, anyway. Didn't get him either Wednesday, Thursday last week. Hello, everybody. I'm to this. Filmed before a live chat room audience. Unrehearsed. Let's see. Unedited. But mildly scripted. Actually, a little bit of a script. Sort of today. There's a Victor going on. Now, I promised you yesterday I was going to tell you, since this isn't in the moderately scripted part, I told you yesterday I was going to tell you what is different about the vanishings or Victors. Not that it's a big deal, but they used to be that the Victors were the same all through a single show, and I had to reconfigure them every day unless I wanted to run the same 3 sequences. So now they're random. There's 3 sets. The first set has certain things assigned to it, and each time you do the Victor, even through a single show, each time you do the Victor, it should be a different one for that set. And anything you see in that first set is only ever going to be in that first set. Same idea with the second set and the third set. And I have not fixed the glass breaking things yet, so get over it. Channel comments is next. Let's see. I've got things that I'm working on to try to improve. You're supposed to try to improve your videos in at least one method, one thing every day. So let's see, what is the right one to do for that? And I just don't know. Oh, that one. Okay, so you don't know what I'm doing there. I haven't explained that yet. So get over it. Content, comments. Here's comments. SpeakerBot should be working. I haven't heard anybody test it, right? I need to test before we get very much further with that. There's the SpeakerBot one-time messages. I don't have to turn them off. They will not repeat. And I better go look and see if you've done any SpeakerBots, because I ain't heard nothing. There's proper grammar for you. I thought I already popped out chat. No, I did not. I did not. Still don't hear anything. Yeah, I see you trying the SpeakerBots. They're not working. Well,
Keith said hello, everyone.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
John
Finally.
Williams said hello, Doug.
Just got them all stacked up.
Noise of a window breaking.
All right. Yeah. So why were those so delayed, or were they delayed? No, they're all at 9:03. Well, I guess they weren't delayed. And something else I don't have on my sort of scripted is somebody yesterday asked if my Zooming was done through sysinternals Zoom it. Yesterday it was not, but I looked closer at it and I decided, you know what? It's pretty darn good. Zoom it is. So I have switched to that, although I still don't think it's going to be right for chat. I want to get rid of this top chat stupid thing at the top. Ugh. Really? Let's see. Did I tell it? No. Okay, the Zoom it thing. 7:59. Yeah, John Williams came in first. Young girl has a great voice. Very nice trailer, Doug. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that, but I'm about to change the trailer. Here's the link to the trailer that John actually saw at the beginning. And Chris Garrett saying, thanks for this trailer. I love that song. Love the Oak Ridge Boys. I used to sing that song over and over with when I was a child. Me too, but not just when I was a child. Goes into adulthood for me. Oh, and this is actually from the Gaither's Gospel Music. I thought it was funny. Bill Gaither allowed them to sing that song in his shows. I have not. Yeah, let's save that for later. Now, I said I was going to go into channel comments, and I got squirrel, but since I'm already talking about the Oak Ridge Boys, I almost called them Gaither Brothers. Where did that come from? I'll go ahead and stick on that topic for a moment. The reason that came up, it was mentioned in a Ken Stout live show last night. Let's see, did I have them, the boys, the Oak Ridge Boys up here on one of these panels, didn't I? Yeah. So they're in the trailer, but coming over to Baby Beast, it came up on Ken's show last night because Joe Bonsall recently died. I haven't looked into the details of that. I couldn't have told you what his name was. I'm not that deep of a fan. He's saying Tanner, saying bass. No, didn't. And another favorite of mine here is William Lee Golden. And somebody in chat said this reminds him of, I think this is the one who's referring to, reminds him of Sin Vicious, William Lee Golden. I consider that a compliment to both gentlemen. And then I also put an image up here of Richard Sturban. Again, I didn't know his name, but I really enjoy him because he's the bass. Oh, man. Oh, just love that. Okay, so let's finish up on Oak Ridge Boys.
Do you have something to add about the motherboard?
Yes, I do. That's on my list about the motherboard today. Chris Garrett, giving a chat comment here. I started reading this and didn't get it at first, and I go, oh, giddy up, papa, mama, giddy up, papa, mama, I oh silver, away. Now, exclamation mark N in the chat is negative. No, Doug, don't do that. That won't be a common thing, but that is just, I love that. All right, moving on. I'm going to take some things in a little bit of a predetermined order. Channel comments. I went to this Ran Israel yesterday. I went to this comment and I got a squirrel. I got pulled away from this with a squirrel. I had already talked about these 2 or 3 shows ago, but I didn't get through this. He was responding to my question about workstation class motherboard because he had said this was a workstation class motherboard, and I asked, where does that come from? How do you know that? And he says the telltale signs, depending upon what part of the country you're in, for me, or what part of the world, telltale signs for me are less the naming, branding, and more the specs. LGA 2066 based CPU and quad channel memory support. You rarely see this in the mainstream consumer market. So that's why he's calling this a workstation class motherboard and not workstation class chipset. I think he was calling a workstation class motherboard. And that makes sense with the quad channel memory support. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. Thumbs up and heart. Tony, nice to seeing you in good form, homie. And thank you, Tony. And Chris Garrett. Doug, you like standard poodles. This is good. Max loves that you like his breed. By the way, thanks for the help. You're welcome. Tony says, nice stream. That was probably a different one. Yeah, 469, 470. So that takes care of all of those. And then I will come over here to some notes from the chat room. Slow mode switch. Oh, yes. And that's about the motherboard. I want to spend a little more time with the motherboard. So I'm going to try to hold that a little bit so I can spend more time there and hit these chat comments. Is this zoom it from sys internals? Now I have zoom it from sys internals. Now do I, yeah, so that zooms in and I can move it over here and I can push the button again to zoom out. And then, and now I also had another script for drawing on the screen, but zoom it does that as well. So there's this now available to me. And then let's see, how do I, yeah, just the escape key erases that. And then there's another form of zoom where I can zoom in, and this is a live zoom, meaning I can click on things and the mouse is more active here. So we'll see how that goes. So thanks for asking about that, because I had not considered sysinternals. So another score for Ann Israel. 857,000 points for that one. Brian Lightfoot, 2 antennas met on a roof, fell in love, and got married. The ceremony wasn't much, but the reception was excellent. Good one. Thank you. And then Brian Turan Israel saying, yes, there was an extra 8 because 987. Doug missed it, minus 100,000 points for him. Yes, I did miss that yesterday. When I was reading back in chat, I realized, yeah, remember I mentioned that I didn't actually count the number of 8s? There were supposed to be 7 8s, not 8 8s. So, yeah, I missed that. Zavi Minor, I looked into this only faxes. I think that's going to be what I wind up using for this client. So thank you again. Gary Weisenberger, for per page 10, manual board, motherboard manual. I'm going to get into this in a little bit when I go on, because I have those 2 places shown on those tabs. Rather than reading through that now, I'll just come down here and finish some more stuff that's hit and run. Lawn Dog, Doug, just to make sure NVMe drive pulled from it was Gen 3. Yes, it was Gen 3, and I actually went back and looked, and when I showed the brief exposure on the video where I was removing that from the DIM.2 riser board, you could see there that it was version 3. Ryan and Joe, both Gary and Zavi are correct. Yeah, so we're going to get into that with the motherboard manual. But before I start talking about that, is Ken Stout in the room? Is Ken Stout in the room? Speak up, Ken. Sometimes I know he's listening in the background and doesn't speak up until I ask if he's here. Is there a Ken Stout in the room? Ken Stoutley, Ken the Stout Kenster. Is he in the room? Doesn't respond soon? I'm going to move along. Move along, people. Nothing to see here. So let's say hello to some people while I'm waiting for that response. Chris Garrett, Keith, John Williams, V. Minor, noise of a window breaking, Brian Lightfoot. SpeakerBot is feeling the heat in Fresnoville, therefore a little slow this morning. Do you have something to add about the motherboard? Yeah, we're getting into that. Something wrong with the audio when you sing. Is it, Brian, is it the thing that's wrong with the audio? Is that the microphone is still on when I sing and it's supposed to automatically turn off? Is that what's wrong with the audio? Hello, Josh Kinder, Alice, will the real Ken Stout please stand up? Ken isn't here. No, Ken. Well, I'm going to hold off on that piece about Ken then. Oh, here's Ken Stout. I'm here way behind, so not commenting.
Today.
It will confuse the singer. He's not commenting today, so he's not going to hear what I'm about to say until he gets up to this point. So you people might harass him in chat. I'm not sure if it's something to harass about or not. But anyway, I want to acknowledge and thank Ken Stout. I got a couple things. I'm not sure how many. I haven't counted. I have a couple things for Ken Stout. Appreciating and thanking him for the birthday wishes that he gave to Tony Wallow at the beginning of his show last night. I'm not going to play that for you, because what I'm going to do is encourage you, if you didn't hear it on his show last night, to go watch his show. Watch Ken Stout's last night show and see Tony Wallow's birthday wishes. He is much loved around here, does a lot for many, many channels. And well done, Ken the Stout. Now, there is more comment for Ken, and this is going to be encoded with a kind of secret coded message that is going to go over some of you all's heads. Ken, I heard what you said, and I deeply thank
Ken Stout
you.
Live said I am here, but read chat, I am late and catching up.
I appreciate that, what you said. I'm going to assume, Ken, you know what I mean. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, now, the rest of you have no idea what I'm talking about there? That's fine. Get over it. Let's see, I did all those. We're going to go and talk about the motherboard. Let's see, dealt with Oak Ridge boys, but I got a couple other quick hits. Chris Garrett, pay attention. Chris Garrett, are you paying attention? This one is for you. Remember that we did, I didn't know what was going to happen when you go to the hamburger menu. This thing about the new watch page experience, it was through July 9th, and I didn't know what's going to happen then. It's going to revert back to normal for the people that it assigned it to? No. Oh, geez. I did not see this coming. Now, this is that link that somebody said, youtube.com/new. That's what this link takes you to. Let's zoom this down, control minus sign to zoom it down. And in the upper part of the screen up there, I could see where I was at. So try new experimental features. Short, smart downloads, ask questions, get AI powered, give your feedback. That's all there is. There is no longer a switch to turn off the new watch page. What this means is I am stuck with the new watch page because I left it on the new watch page all through the day. So I've got, let's see, chat over here. I got those big thumbnails. I can close this and see. Looks like there were no comments on that video. It's probably perhaps too recent. But yeah, so I am stuck on the new watch page experience and I can't switch back and forth. Oh no. So what I'll do if I decide I want to, I'm going to keep it this way for a while. If I decide I want to change back, I'll use the profile icon, go down to send feedback, and ask them in this section to change me back the old style watch page. Yeah, they said there was a July 8th deadline, or no, I think it was July 9th because it was yesterday. But they didn't say what was going to happen then. They didn't say that if you leave it on the new watch page experience and you're going to be stuck with that. I thought it was more reasonable to think that they're going to test it until July 9th, then they're going to turn it off and decide what they're going to do about it. Never occurred to me that I might get stuck on that. Well, actually, I thought it might become a permanent switchable feature somewhere. That would be the right thing to do. You're insisting it was July 8th. All right. All right. A couple of you are saying it was a July 8th. Yeah. All right. Next thing on my hit and run list. Stuck on new watch page, channel comments, did that. Stuck on new watch page, I put that in there twice. Tony's birthday and secret thank you. Oh yeah. Did you spot any? Oh yeah, I guess I kind of hiding it. I didn't position it right. Something back there in the background. I have a guest with me in the studio. Tripod jacket.
Chris Garrett said, will YouTube listen to me and fix it back?
I can't promise
Martin
that.
Hogg said, hi everyone, sorry I'm late.
All I can tell you is that other video that I showed you, they did respond to his request to switch it back. My suspicion and hope is that they will. But we won't know until you try it or until I try it. But anyway, Doug, why are you showing that jacket again? Know about your people. Some people in the community have said they like that jacket. I like that jacket. The reason, whoops, I got to wait till the Victors to be done. These are different Victors than you saw last time. It's possible that one of those three segments might have been randomly the same one. Slick. Hey, it's slick. Because this came in the mail, in the U.S. mail to me yesterday. That is my jacket. Exactly my jacket. The pockets, the collar, the sleeves. This is from US Wings, a aviation place, and you'll see this label. It actually says US Wings. It's a size small. That's where I bought it. They are featuring this again. So if anybody wants to buy one of these, I do not have an affiliate link. But let's see. Oh, geez. I got to type out that whole freaking thing. The World War II jacket. I'll let you finish that, Victor, before I change you over. I'm going to give you the link. uswings.com/product category /collections/military. I haven't looked at this link yet. Hopefully it takes you right to the jacket. And hopefully they have it on
Al J said
sale.
the jacket. The jacket.
WWII. Now, Control A, Control C, before I lose that in case I type something wrong. So here's oops, that page can't be found. US Wings product category /
Frosty Winnipeg said, is there a referral code?
collections. No referral code. No, the other word for that, affiliate. Collections. Oh, S. I missed the S right here. See.
Al J said reminds me full leather jacket. The Sopranos season 2 episode 8.
Control A and Control C. That get us right to that jacket. And is it hopefully on sale? Still can't be found. Are you kidding me? Go US Wings. uswings.com. All right. Well, then I'm going to take a look at something else. US Wings. Because the other thing that occurred to me is I can probably find when I bought it in my email. Because I never delete email. Yeah, look at this. This looks kind of a personal email from R.K. Ruti, Cruti. I think that's the guy's name. Rusty, I think his name, maybe. Oh, Bob Cruti, Robert Cruti. Good morning, Doug. I want to let you know your jacket shipped yesterday. Regards, Bob Cruti, Vice President, Sales and Marketing. If I can come up with better link for that jacket, or if somebody finds it to give us a URL specifically to that jacket, then let us know. Yes, Ken, I did see your first comment come in, and I saw it this morning, but then when I went back, it was gone. 11:49 p.m. last night. 11:48 p.m. I believe I would be the first one to comment. What shall we talk about today? Yes, you were the first to comment, and I did see that. Looks like Keith may have gotten us a better link.
Read chat, please.
And that was probably him saying read chat. Thank you, Keith. Let's go look at that. Yeah, well, this one here looks like the one I have. Yeah. I recognize it by looking at the waistband, the wrist elastic, the collar, that sharpness of the collar, the zippered front, the pockets, their shape, and the shoulder thingamabobs. That's it. Now, Antique Bison, $415. That's not on. Oh, this is a sale. Is that the sale price? Yikes. 415. Doesn't say, I don't see a actual sale price highlighted. Maybe somebody can figure out about the sale. I'm not going to chase that down further right now. So, got that with N. Now we're going to get to the motherboard. We're going to get overtime. Yep. That gets us down to that. 3 things that came up yesterday. The DIM.2 riser and the advantage of it, the truth about the M.2 slots on the motherboard, which I didn't fully understand either of those yesterday, and the slow mode switch. I have turned the slow mode switch off, so I have fast mode now. I don't know what it's gonna. I'm just doing this back and forth thing to see if there's any jitteriness. Technical term. Weren't familiar with it.
Chris Garrett said, what does jackets have to do with motherboards and Windows issues? Squirrel.
Yeah, that was a squirrel. That was a squirrel. Because some people really like the jacket. And I do. So the things on the motherboard, this part, I was struggling to understand how the connection to the processor. And afterwards, when I read through this and I didn't have the pressure of, doing a show, I realized, oh, duh. This section here is the processor. This section down here is the chipset. The processor supports the DIM.2 module. And
Ken Stout Live said, thank you. I will go easy on you tonight.
All right, thank you. The DIM.2 module supports 2 M.2s, socket 3 with an M key, supports PCIe 3, Gen 3 mode, and these pieces of information. Notice what's missing here. Under this whole CPU, there is no mention of M.2 on the motherboard. The processor does not communicate directly with either M.2 slots that are on the motherboard. Down here, the chipset supports M.2 _1, M.2 _2, and SATA, 8 SATA ports. And oh joy, I could do Intel Optane memory. I could add that. Upgrade anyone? No. So the CPU does not directly communicate with either of the M.2 slots on the motherboard, clearly saying that I'm better off putting my M.2 NVMe in the DIM.2 riser. And that's probably why I had a better Crystal Disk Mark speed test when I was there. So my intention is to do speed test with my M.2 in the motherboard slot with the quad memory, and then test it with the DIM.2 and quad memory and see if there's a difference there. So that is, I'm sure, something that was different than what most people would expect. There was also the issue about which M.2 on the motherboard would be the preferred one to use in the event of using one M.2 slot on the motherboard. And we'll go back here to Ran Israel's comment. Both Gary and Zvi are correct. The choice from best to worst should be DIM.2, then the M.2B and the M.2A, which seems counterintuitive. So let's go look at that here. Now, this is a little confusing the way they did this. Usually, the M.2 slot that's near the CPU would have direct communication with the CPU. This is where you have to go read the motherboard manual. And this is something that is legitimately a frustration to any custom computer builders. Every time you do a different motherboard, you should comb through the motherboard manual to really understand that motherboard if it is significantly different than what you're accustomed to. If you're using always consumer grade motherboards, kind of same price range, they probably follow some standards. But when you go on the more expensive motherboard for venturing into something that's going to be more of a gaming higher end capabilities or workstation type higher end capabilities, you may have some surprises in the motherboard manual, like I would call this. Now, Ran Israel's comment said first, the B, which is farther away from the CPU. And here's a thing that's weird. B is this one, which is M.2 _1. The A is _2. They reversed them. Wouldn't it have been a little more consistent to call this one B and this one A? I think that would have helped with, the intuitiveness of this. Now, why is the _1 preferred? Here's the _1, but this one's called B. This one's called A. Okay? You got it. A little difficult to absorb this, but these are both addressed by the chipset, not addressed by the CPU. So why is one of these preferred over the other? These, if you care about the SATA mode M key design, they're both SATA mode M key design. They both have all 3 links. And let's see, that says, 3x4 mode. No, actually, this one does not say SATA mode. But down here, the PCI 3.0 X4 slot, this 4-bit slot, shares bandwidth with the M.2_2. So it doesn't disable. It's not an either or. It's just that they're going to share bandwidth that's my read on it. And then both the _1 and the _2 support Intel Rapid Storage technology. So that's what I'm seeing there. And remember, you have to buy your M.2 separately. It doesn't come with motherboard because that's not obvious. Gee. Okay, so the M.2s, the DIMM.2, CPU addresses the M.2. Was there one other thing about all of that to get? Let's see. I'm going to do, somebody asked some specific, do you have more to add about the motherboard? Something else that actually, did I miss anything about the motherboard conversation? Check your motherboard. If you find a diagram, illustrates the pathways to various PCI slots, chipsets, and controllers. Okay, so let's look. And you know what? I better.
LJ said motherboard info is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Speedmatter said switch.
Switch. Oh yes, the switch. Thank you. That was the other thing that I missed. That switch, slow mode. Slow mode. Next. Slow mode switch. Yeah, so I set this to the off position. I did do one of those performance tests, the ones that you saw in my pictures. I'm forgetting the name of it, but I didn't actually look at its numbers compared to when slow mode was on. So I still have speed tests to do on that subject and speed tests to do with the DIMM.2. And I need to remember when I do, for instance, the Crystal Disk Mark with the current configuration, that I now have the slow mode turned off. I suspect that the boot time might be faster now. When I did a startup, I kind of rough sketched the startup speed. So I'm interested in differences with slow mode on or off for startup time, for Crystal Disk Mark results, and for that other test. See, here's where, I have this task view button, but it no longer shows history. Task view no longer shows us what was previously done. But anyway, I'm still interested in doing those. Now, Doug, why are you interested in that stuff? Do you really care? Does it really make a difference to your usage of the computer? Probably not. But it's intriguing. It's interesting. It's fascinating, and it helps me and us understand more about how computers work. If you understand more about how things work and the total base foundation, that makes you a better troubleshooter, in my opinion. And that's why anytime you go into school, they want you to have
He said yes, exactly.
a good foundation education. That's why general education is important through your life. You say, when am I ever going to use this? It's general education, have a good broad foundation. Now, Keith is saying yes, exactly, to something that I just said. I'm not sure what. I'm hoping it's because why I'm interested. Okay, I'm asking myself, what else did I? Oh, okay. I guess I need to go in and look at, be sure I've covered everything that has been where I've been hit in orange. If I missed responding to a speaker bot that called for a response, let me know with a speaker bot. I think we've done all of the motherboard stuff. Why 8th? Wow. I'm amazed that I was wrong about that. Scrolling, looking. Keith, that more specific than the one I showed? No.
Zvi Manor said, give an answer to Lawn Dog.
An answer to Lawn Dog's got a lot of comments. Can you give me a timestamp? Okay, looking for oranges and things that jump out at me. Did I ask a question other than
Brian
making a
Lightfoot
comment?
said, let's get real intriguing and overclock Big Beast.
You know what? I did experiment with that a little bit. I don't think I'm going to go down that road again.
Ken Stout Live said 12:01 to current time is Lawn Dog.
12:01
Zvi
to
Manor said
current.
the last 7:35.
I'm not going to read all of his stuff. Zvi Manor was asking answer to Lawn Dog at 7:35. So look for 35. 35. I was still curious why you chose that dim board other than increasing your storage capacity, but then again, you never
Jason,
use.
what are the signs of an aging motherboard, ya Doug?
Come to that in a moment. I did, other than, why did you choose that dim board? I choose to try the dim.2 board just out of curiosity because I thought it was an unusual thing. I just wanted to see, I wanted to experience it. I had no idea at that time that that's the preferred place for the NVMe to be installed. Why you chose that dim board other than increasing your storage capacity? I was not trying to increase my storage capacity. I had no need to do that.
Chris Garrett said blown caps.
But then again, you never used your original two M.2 slots. Yeah, I never did use the original M.2_2. My NVMe was previously in the M.2_1, the one that is farther away from the CPU, because that one has a preference because it doesn't share bandwidth with the PCIe X4, X8, whatever it was. So does that answer that question? I think it does. Blown caps. I don't know what that means. What are the signs of an aging motherboard? Arthritis, stiffness in the joints, dry skin, gray hair, baldness. No, but really, signs of an aging motherboard. As far as whether you need to replace your motherboard, what problem are you trying to solve? What's wrong with your computer experience? I don't see a reason to ever replace a motherboard just because it is chronologically got a number of years on it. If your computer has some problems, if you think the whole thing is just old and if it won't upgrade to Windows 11, that would be a reason to go to Windows 11. But I don't ever replace anything simply because of its chronological age. There has to be some other reason. It's worn out.
Chris Garrett said blown caps can be a sign of aging motherboard.
Blown capacitors. That's probably a sign of a defective motherboard. Yeah, blown capacitors. It's got blown capacitors. It probably isn't working. That would be another sign of an aging motherboard. It just doesn't work. I would want to see some other for a complaint about the motherboard rather than just the number of years.
Chris Garrett said yes, that too.
Answers my question, but also
LJ
could
said,
bring
thanks,
up.
Doug.
You're welcome, Alice. Could also bring up a new question. I think motherboards changed the pathway to the CPU lanes, storage, and memory. That could be specific to a model of motherboard. As you've seen on mine, the pathways from the M.2 slots that are on the motherboard, neither of them go directly to the CPU. So a specific motherboard model could do something different than what is usual or loosely defined standard, undefined standard. Bygone symptom. Yeah, as you know, my PC can't update to Windows 11. Yeah, so that's your computer is obsolete for Windows 11. And it's not due to the chronological. That's just a chronic problem, not a chronological question. Don't quote me on that. I believe there's something. What I'm commenting about my lanes to my CPU are different from yours. Certainly they could be. Welcome. Generations of motherboards. Yeah, that's another thing. It's what generation does your motherboard support for storage and for RAM and for CPU? If you are capable, if you're able to put in a newer CPU in your motherboard in order to make it Windows 11 compatible, should you do that? Well, it's probably not enough of a jump in CPU performance to make a huge difference with performance. But if you're really on a tight budget, that might save money. However, if you're open to these new mini PCs, man, they are a slam dunk. These mini PCs with a separate monitor for Alice, because what she currently has is an all-in-one. Now, if you really got desperate, some all-in-ones allow an external video input. Could you buy a mini PC and use a video cable plug into the input port on your all-in-one and be fixed for less than $200? This B-Link has like 3 choices under $200. The choice that I'm doing for the law office that I told you about many times with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 NVMe, that's not the lowest model, but it's under $200. Yes, Lawn Dog, I am very impressed with these mini PCs. So I got a client waiting on me. I'm going to move over to there, hit that button, and say goodbye to you all. An email address, and then the right button to hit, because I don't want to make that mistake again as this one. You can click on this video to see how to get free support through this YouTube channel. You can click on this video to see how to get paid support from me directly and privately. This video will tell you about turbocharging your troubleshooting experience by watching videos on this channel. And this video is one that YouTube thinks will be good for you to watch. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.